join with this group right here? Oh, I don't know about this.
You don't know about them?
Trouble? Are they trouble?
No, never. All right, if I get the 5 of you to go with Jay, we're going to
Step out of the log jam here and get started.
Okay.
But they do compensate you for any problems.
We'll get a little closer so it's going to get loud. Good afternoon. My name is Jay. I want to thank you for coming out today. There's a lot going on here, and so what I'm going to do is just talk for a few minutes at the beginning to give you a lay of the land and to get you pointed in the right direction about what you can do here. So first of all, Mid-Continent Grid Solutions is a joint venture between TransSource and BHE. Probably never heard of those companies, but together they operate and maintain more than 84,000 miles of transmission line here in the United States. We are not the ones who determined that Wisconsin needed a transmission line. That is not our job. That's determined by a grid operator. And you probably don't want to know what a grid operator is, but it's much like an air traffic controller. Our country is divided into regions, and the grid operator for this region is called Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. I'll refer to it as its acronym MISO. And like an air traffic controller, but for electricity, they monitor where power is coming from, where it needs to go, and do we have the infrastructure to safely and reliably get it from point A to point B. They did a study in 2019 and 2020 and came to the determination that Wisconsin needed an additional infrastructure to support the growing demand to meet the energy needs of the future. And they determined that there needed to be a transmission line built to connect these points within Wisconsin. And ultimately, it starts over here in Bell Center, up here to Columbia County, down to Sugar Creek, and will ultimately connect with a line coming from Illinois. We are early in the process and no route has been selected. When we look at this, once they determined that that need existed, they put out a bid, a competitively bid, and said who can build it. Mid-Continent Grid Solutions was one of the companies that put in a bid and they were selected. Our job is to build a line to connect these dots that has the least impact possible. How do we do that? We talk to landowners around the potential lines. When you look at this map, and you probably all either picked up something like this at the front, it has kind of a spider web of lines connecting these points that we need to connect. Ultimately, only one line needs to be built. These are just potential routes that are being considered, and what we want to do is learn about the land on, across, or around these potential routes so that we can minimize impact. We're going to come here today, and in addition to getting your questions answered, we want to hear about you. If you have a number written on your sheet, that means there is the potential that one of these routes is either across or within 1,000 feet of one of your pieces of property. And so it doesn't mean that that's necessarily what's going to go. We're going to adjust. But what we want to know is, for example, if you have a 500-acre farm, but you have a family cemetery on the southern corner of it, we want to know that.
Yes.
If you have springs, if you have, I talked to somebody yesterday who had an abandoned mine shaft, like things like that we don't know about the property, we do want to know about. And so there'll be an opportunity here today to relay that information to us about your specific property. Before I get to that, I'm going to tell you a little about process. We will come back here again in the fall. Once we take the input from people, all of these lines will probably eliminate a couple routes and say that's probably not the least impactful, and we may adjust some of these lines based on that feedback that we get from people. We're going to come back here in the fall, probably around the November timeframe, and show you revised maps, maybe some eliminated routes and others that have been slightly refined, and do the same process again. Ultimately, our goal is to reduce it down to a couple lines that we present to the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. And they have two jobs. They determine, one, is there a need for a transmission line? Is MISO, they will look at what MISO has determined the need, and they will confirm whether or not there needs to be a transmission line. And if there is, they will also have a 12 to 18 month process that includes public input about a route. They do not have to accept one of the routes that we have proposed that we say could work. They can adjust it. They can come up with one of their own. Ultimately, it is the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin that determines if and where a route goes. At that point, it comes back to us where we work with the landowner about access and about right-of-way and construction and final design. So then we would go through final design and construction. There is a timeline on your sheet here that goes into a little bit more detail about that process. And so the purpose today, we have experts around the room. These tall banners, like you see engineering right here, right-of-way over there. We have the technical experts, so we have the engineers who design these structures. For questions about like, well, why did you pick this structure shape as opposed to this structure? Right-of-way, like what does it look like for compensation? What can I use the right-of-way for if a line does go across my property? What are those restrictions? Environmental impact, vegetation management, what does construction look like? What do we have to return the land to when we're done construction? I would encourage you to talk to the experts about the questions that you have specifically about the project. At the end, or at some point, particularly if you've been identified as a potential parcel, which is by those numbers, we want to hear about, like I mentioned, a cemetery or something like that. There's several ways you can let us know that. Here, we have mapping stations. The black tables along the back, you can sit down at a table with somebody who has large maps zoomed in for the counties, as well as they will pull your property up on the computer, and they want to hear about your property, and they'll tag it directly and link that right in the system, so that when we make those revisions and talk about impact, we have that information, because it's much easier to address those early and avoid them than later on in the process. I did mention we'll come back here again in the fall with revisions, and I encourage you to come back and make further comments if you think so. Also, if you do that, or if you decide you want to think about it more, you can also do that online on our website. We have an interactive map where you can drill down to your parcel and provide that feedback tied to your link. You could also go old school, send an email. Our email address is there. Any of that information you provide, or you can fill it all out on the form that's given you. You can sit down at a table and write it all out and leave that with us, or do all of it. If you go back and talk to a person today, and you think of something when you get home, you're like, oh, I wish I had told them about the fence line that's also here. You can go online and do that, or send us an email. Just make sure you include the address, so when you send us an email, we know exactly the parcel that you're talking about. That's kind of an overview of what's going on here, and how to kind of provide that feedback. Is there any questions about what's here before I let you go at your own pace? Go talk to the experts. You're here early, so it's not too crowded. I don't want to hold you back from talking to the technical people or to the map people, but anything that I can direct you, or if you have a question, I might be able to point you to the right station to start if you want, or you can kind of go at your own pace.
Well, I have one question, because I'm a part of a couple of advocacy groups. How do we know that? I know that people received letters in the mail. What kind of due diligence is your company doing to follow up with the people that don't show up to these events, that maybe threw that in the garbage? So what are you doing to make sure that they're providing the same type of information that these people are going to provide? So we have
requirements for that. So we've done a number of things to promote this. If one of the proposed routes or potential routes under consideration is within 1,000 feet, either it comes across, or even as a neighbor within 1,000 feet, you received a postcard. We also have to we advertise in all the county papers, as well as digital online promotion that we're beyond what we're required to do. But we're trying to get out to as many people as possible, because as I said, we want input now at the beginning part of the process, and again, we'll do all those same promotions during, as well as our website. I encourage you always to go back to our website. We list all of our open houses. This is our 8th one this week. We're going to every county. We'll do that again, and our website will have all of that information.
Well, that's great too, but at the same time, as again, like I am a part of many advocacy groups, are you documenting the people that you're actually talking to and have a checklist maybe together? Because no matter how much I've been out there on social media, other people have been door knocking, there are still people that will not know.
Yeah, and if you have, for example, your information, by signing in and giving us your email, that's another way that we can notify people of that. And if there are other things that you think we could be doing to help places to promote it, I'll take that feedback and we can do that. It's under consideration going forward. That's great advice.
I don't know if there's much more than actually physically door knocking and not really expecting them to do your due diligence for you.
Thank you for that feedback. Any questions? Thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I follow you guys around since you have a number?
Oh, yes.
I would love to kind of
Yeah,
hear.
just try not to take.
No, I won't tape your face if you don't want me to.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Quick.
Ohio as well. They have Pennsylvania, New Jersey, some of the Maryland area, West Virginia, Virginia, part of Indiana. I don't know why, but they have part of the area of Chicago as well. But that's a different RTO.
Sure, but if we're coming across and grabbing power from them, we're coming right out of the grade.
Yeah, so the part of the goal is with this line is to connect it to the rest of the MISO region. So any power generation can go back and forth. As I mentioned, it's a bi-directional line, so we can send power to and from.
So where is the power actually going to be used?
In this area of Wisconsin. So the point of this line is to help the peak load demand in this area. So if you imagine like a highway system, like Route 94, if everybody's trying to drive on Route 94, that gets bottlenecked. Well, with electric, that causes your power to shut down and experience blackouts, things of that nature. This would provide essentially a second highway set to relieve some of that congestion for your cars, in this case your power, to make sure that you're getting adequate power to your home, specifically during those peak demand periods.
So you're in partnership with Alliant Energy, with We Energy, with Rock County Co-op. Like, who are you in partnership with?
Well, this line is for MISO. MISO's running the grid. They're
Okay.
directing power. They would direct power to those companies.
But
So,
you are in partnership. You do have contract with them.
Not that I.
So then how are we supposed to benefit from the power if you're not contracted through them?
So companies like that will tap into these substations and then feed power. That's not in our wheel. That's not part of my project. We're building the transmission line to feed those substations.
So you're not from MISO,
No. We
so we can't talk to anybody who's.
No, man. But Sanjoy here does a lot of work. He's part of the planning team that works with MISO to help develop these plans, and we put in the bid to MISO.
Okay.
They selected us.
So is the power plant or the data center included in
So the initial,
the all of a sudden need for all of this?
the initial study MISO started with, data centers were not in consideration over time. So the study started in 2019. Over the course of a few years now, they've started. Over the course of a few years, they've started to include data centers. But even if the data centers went away, this line would still be needed.
Even though we're currently on a power decline.
Yes, ma'am. So, I've heard a lot of talk about my power has been fine. We've even been declining in some areas. This isn't necessarily for your day-to-day average loads. This is for your peak load conditions. One example I like to give on that is like your hottest days of summer, your coldest days of winter, where everybody's running the AC or running the heat. That causes spikes in the load. Those large spikes are what we're trying to protect against. So when everybody's using electricity, there's extra pathways for that to go through, the 765 line, that'll help to prevent blackouts in the grid.
Because now we've heard the same thing from Alliant Energy because we're building a 2 billion cubic foot LNG facility in my township. So that's literally the same exact thing that they tell us too, is to take over that power load. Should some random day on Christmas Eve one year, our power goes out. So it seems like we're getting an overabundance now of all of these things that are supposed to support our grid.
I could see how that would seem.
We're putting larger turbines in at Alliant Energy. We're looking at gas plants in Darien. We're in Paris. We're putting in solar farms. Like, where does this fit in with those plants? That seems like a way overabundance of power to me.
Well, so that's power generation, right? We're just power transmission. We're giving a path for that power to transfer. Alliant works with MISO. I can't speak for them directly. That's not our company, but they're working. All those plans go through MISO. MISO helps direct all of this. They're in charge of making sure that power gets dispersed everywhere in this region. So while we don't do the exact planning of that, we're a piece of that plan, that overall plan.
I guess my concern is just because all of the reading that I've done, the power is not even going to be used in Wisconsin.
No, man, this line is intended to feed this area of Wisconsin.
But is that true? That's the same thing they said about the solar farm, but that's solely going to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Or like the one by me that goes to Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak to the solar. I apologize. I will say this is a bi-directional line, so it can pull power in the state and also send it out. The intent is to provide relief to this section of Wisconsin.
Okay, I don't feel as if we need relief.
I think we're going to have an overabundance of relief
Yes.
in the coming years.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about the LNG in the town of Rock and Beloit, but it did just receive its PSC approval today.
Really?
So they're moving forward. 2 billion cubic feet of liquefied natural gas. They're putting a storage facility in the town of Rock and Beloit.
Yeah. It's all good.
Not if we could help it.
Yeah.
Energy will be based on how much energy.
Just want to pipe in really quick and let you know that I am following around a family, an impacted family, with a family farm with a graveyard on site. So I will be looking to see what information they are given as well. Personally, I live in Rock County in the town of Rock and Beloit. So you'll hear a little bit of information about what we have going on in my township as well.
Residential, commercial, and manufacturing customers.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for subsidy. And as partners, we awarded our plan to tie into these substations that are being local power substations.
No, I know. I have a hard time believing it's not all these data center, power plant, solar.
It is a bi-directional line. You can't take power to.
Oh, so it's
Is there any
driving all of this.
connection between how much electricity we need here in the future for all these massive solar farms that we're talking about here?
So the solar farms actually produce electricity,
Right,
they do not consume,
but not
and the
that
solar
fast.
That has to be
It
it
has
has
to
to transfer,
transfer.
you are right.
Yes.
But the solar farms, MISO do not have any control over the solar farms because those are generation, and MISO cannot cite generation, cannot say generation needs to go here. Wherever they are coming up, they should be show up in MISO's plan, and MISO has to deliver. That is a requirement that MISO has to provide. So load and generation MISO has no control. What MISO has control over is the lines.
So what it's going to transfer
Yes.
from those
Yes.
solar.
So MISO has to make sure that the power can be transferred from the generation wherever they are to wherever the load is, reliably and constantly.
Where right now is the greatest need for
I mean-
power to be transferred to?
So if I cannot, like based on the study, I cannot pinpoint, and MISO also do not do that, but they cannot pinpoint a location. But what they do is when they do the studies, they look at zones, by zones. So this is what MISO zones are, and this is MISO zone 2. And we are talking about MISO Zone 2 specifically because we are in Wisconsin. So for MISO Zone 2, the peak load is increasing by 6,000 megawatts in the next 10 years. And this data is not produced by MISO, this is produced by the utility companies who give it to MISO. It's something called load forecast, and they do it every year. They update it every year, irrespective of whether they're doing any projects or not.
Questions on that?
Do you have any questions?
Yes. Your friend said you had to answer it rather than me. So a little bit of stuff I've been able to, in about a week, figure out. I use chat to help me. So chat went to your information, and I would ask chat, what do they say about this, and it would feed it back to me. So what I'm understanding is that you've done a benefit analysis for the region, but not specifically Wisconsin.
So, so I would say yes and no on that one, because MISO divides its area into zones, and if you see, MISO did not divide them into Wisconsin per se, but it has Zone 2, which includes Wisconsin. It has Zone 1, which also includes Wisconsin, and they do this analysis for zonal levels also.
So you do have an analysis of Zone 2
Yes.
specifically?
Yes, yes.
Is that published in
It should be in this report. Over there they have a report which should have analysis and numbers for them, but if you don't find it, if you need that specific information, please put that in the comment card and we will provide that.
You probably don't have the numbers off the top of
No,
your head.
and I do not want to misspeak unless I remember that.
So the second thing I understand is that in addition to being able to use the line to provide power from Wisconsin, the connection to Illinois also has connections to eastern areas.
Yes.
Here, there's a whole bunch of stuff out here.
Yes.
So,
The whole power grid is interconnected, irrespective of what MISO has control over. And so this region is called PJM, irrespective of PJM, MISO, and on this side we have SPP. So irrespective of that, the whole power grid is interconnected. Yes, there are connections going to east and west and south everywhere.
so I'd have to see your analysis for Wisconsin benefit.
Yes.
Assuming that doesn't pan out, it kind of made me think we're actually providing Wisconsin ratepayers, we're providing a way for the East Coast to get power
So
from us.
on that, what I can talk about or try to explain is when MISO is looking at the long-term load forecast for Zone 2, this is for Zone 2. Zone 2 is primarily Wisconsin. There is a percentage also, but it's primarily Wisconsin, then not the Zone 1 also. The peak load is growing in MISO Zone 2 by almost 6,000 megawatts in the next 5 years. This line can carry around that much power, so I'm expecting most of the power will be delivered. And then there are two substations, as you might have seen in the map, and Columbia and Sugar Creek. So the expectation is most of the power at peak time, when this is there, will be delivered to Wisconsin. So whatever is needed for Wisconsin, this line should be delivered.
We get it first?
I mean, kind of, because if it is needed, so just imagine like you have a water tower, water is coming to your house, and there are taps, right? So if you open the tap, you get the power. Everybody opens the tap, everybody gets the power. If the water is out, then nobody gets it. It's like that. So MISO cannot distinguish that you are first and you are second. The electrons, they find their own path to go. If there is a need here,
And then everything is metered in
yes,
some way? So
yes,
that-
yes. Everything is metered. Anything that you are
So I
selling.
understand the analysis with fluid systems.
Yes. So it
watering. I
is
understand
kind
that.
of equivalent to
Yeah,
that.
it just didn't seem like that's the way a power company
So
would
if you
operate.
think about it, you have power coming into your house. Do you think that your electricity that is coming to your house distinguishes between the bedroom versus the living room? It does not, right?
I understand.
It's same. It's just like that. You have a giant, you have power coming in, you have a receptacle. So those substations are kind of receptacles, right? If you want power from there, you plug it in, you get it out. It's available to you. If you don't use it, then yes, it can go down.
I'm skeptical of that because
So,
what that would mean
yes.
is that an entire region could have a brownout because
If- Yeah,
I'm kind of skeptical.
No.
You're telling me that transforming and switching and all that isn't computerized and figured out and
So then,
limits and
all of those things will be implemented, right? But those who are used, so MISO or your utility cannot say, I don't want to give power here and I want to give power here. They cannot do that. They are not allowed to do that. I would explain that. Now, as I said, those switches and controls are used to during operations when you need to protect certain part of the system versus the other. So suppose there is a tree that fell on any line, maybe a small line like a distribution line or a big line, right? Now, when the tree comes in contact with your line, that is a fault. Now, if you do not take that out, it will take out the whole grid. So you have to take it out. So those controls are for those purposes, to monitor the voltages, to monitor, I mean, there are lots of things that goes on there. But at a high level, I want to leave with you, what I want to leave with you is that MISO or your utility or I have no control over, or I am not allowed to control power going to one versus the other. We cannot do that. Whatever power is out there, we have to take. Whatever power is needed, we have to provide, and for the whole system. What we can do is, if you want to participate, again, I'm saying you as an example, but if somebody wants to participate in what is called demand response program, so we talk about brownout, so I'm assuming you know a lot about electricity.
yeah, and I don't.
So demand response is basically now, all of a sudden, I need 18,000 megawatts and MISO does not have 18,000 megawatts. So, or your utility does not have enough. So they will send out a request to your phone saying that can you turn up your AC so that we can save power for the whole company? Otherwise, we'll have problem, or we'll have to buy more expensive generators. So those are the things that can happen, yes. But those are beyond the scope of this planning function. They cannot plan for that. They cannot plan for, say, I'm going to ask this, that, unless the demand response program is already in. So those kind of details, I did not want to go into that, but it seemed like you knew, so I just shared it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
It's a lot, and we don't really hear a lot about it.
Hey, Charlie.
Oh, hi. Yeah, the constituent outreach has been wild. I was just telling, I think 95% of people reach out are first-time contactors at the office about any issue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Sandra. Sandra, this is State Senator Mark Spreitzer.
Hi.
This is Haley. She's the Assistant County Administrator.
Hi.
And this is Philip.
Hey, Bill.
And you're with the county as well.
I'm a county supervisor and legislative staff, so
Okay.
multiple hats.
I wasn't sure which one of those came first. So Sandra can talk to you a little bit about project need, the MISO process, how we got here, why the 765 kV tech is better than 345 kV tech. And then I'm going to get another group started, and I'll circle back with you guys.
All right.
If you need anything.
And if you have specific questions while I'm explaining something, please let me know so that I can address those instead of like going through my whole lecture here. But I'll start with MISO. If you guys know what MISO is, I'll skip that. If not, then I'll go with a very short and fast and short and sweet description of what MISO is and what they do, and then how MISO went through all of this analysis to come forward. So MISO is an independent, non-for-profit entity or company that was designated by FERC, which is a federal agency, to oversee, manage, and plan the power system, the power grid in this region, the one that you see in green, all of them. That is what MISO's function is. Now, for this project, MISO, it comes out of the MISO's planning function or planning project. The planning function of MISO, what they do is they look at the need, so they look at the projection of generation and projection of load in the future, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they do that. And then they look at the grid and see whether it can handle that amount of power moving over the grid reliably and cost effectively in the long run.
Can I ask you a question about the map of this? What's the deal with the part of Illinois that's not in green? Because that's what this is connecting to, right?
Yes, you're right. So first thing first, that gray portion that you're seeing is a company called ComEd.
Okay.
Commonwealth Edison.
So they are not within MISO.
So yes, so Commonwealth Edison chose to join PJM, which is neighbor of MISO on the east, versus MISO, and they have a choice to do so, provided they fulfill certain criteria, electrical criteria. So that's what
that you're assigned to. It says that the electricity demand's going up in Wisconsin, and it's not. It's flat.
So
where are you getting that from?
So we can talk about that for all of you together if it helps. So let's do this. So what I said was MISO in the planning function looks at generation, looks at load, looks at their own grid and see if it can handle. If not, then they come up with a plan to address that, because MISO has a mandate, they cannot let the lights go off, or they cannot plan for that to go out. So that is where all of this is coming from.
Why isn't it going on existing lines or going the steps in Wisconsin that the state law requires? Like existing lines, freeways, railroad tracks. Not all, oh, you've got like 91% new property.
So I'll explain all of the, I'll try to answer all of your questions one by one, but let's go to the next stage here where we talk about what is going on with the load, right? So this is something called long-term load forecast that MISO does every year, irrespective of what projects are going out there. So this long-term load forecast, each utility company in MISO, including Wisconsin and everywhere else, companies like B and ABC and WPP and everybody else, they do long-term load forecast where they are looking at what kind of loads are connecting. They may have agreements for upcoming loads, like usually like any factory or those, they want to kind of confirm availability of power and agreement beforehand, and then they also have projections on other types of load, like commercial.
So is it going for the data centers? Because it's certainly not for the homes. We're all consuming. We've cut back.
So
we put in energy efficient.
So that answer is also coming after that. So when MISO does MISO takes the information from all of these utility companies and put together in a report. They compile them and put together in a report. That is called the long-term load forecast. They do it every year irrespective of projects. And the long-term load forecast, this chart shows that in MISO Zone 2, which is east part of Wisconsin, all the way from north to south, and the Upper Peninsula, in this zone, the need for power at peak, so the peak demand is going up by 6,000 megawatts.
Sorry to interrupt. Who are the actual decision makers within MISO? Like, I understand you're getting input from a lot of sources, but is it a appointed board? Is it professional, full-time staff? Like, who actually makes this decision?
Yes. So MISO is a stakeholder-driven body.
So is that consumers and utilities?
So MISO is a stakeholder-driven body. All the planning functions that MISO do are there are stakeholder involvement. Now your question is, who are the stakeholders? Right? So in the stakeholders, you will have retail customer representatives, wholesale customer again, I do not remember all 12 of them. Wholesale customer representatives, there will be utility companies, there will be PSCs, there will be environmental groups, there will be I forgot, I don't want to misspeak, and then there will be other kinds of entities. There will be renewable generators, there will be large generators, large loads, all of them. So they are all part of that process. And MISO, every meeting that they have related to this, all stakeholders are allowed to participate in this. And then eventually what happens is, whatever MISO comes up with a plan, after all those discussions that happen, it has to be approved and voted by each of these stakeholder bodies. Now, when I'm talking about each of these stakeholders body, they don't each get one vote. What happens is the TO sector, all utilities together is one TO sector. They get one vote. Environmental sector gets one vote. Government sector gets one vote. That's how the decision is made. So it is not MISO doing things in isolation. MISO staff, they do all the analysis work, the engineering and everything else that is needed, but the decision is all the stakeholders involved. So coming to your question about data centers, so this chart showed that there is need for peak, so there is increase in peak load, so there is need for power.
So who's paying for it? Us or the data centers?
Okay, so I'll come to data centers
No,
and then
just a straight answer. I don't want to hear the whole blurb.
No,
Who's paying for it?
Who is paying for the project? It is the ratepayers, but the utility commission.
How much?
Whatever the cost of the project is.
And you don't know that yet.
Yes, it is.
So how much?
It is expected to be $1.2 billion for the whole project.
Yeah, and how much does that affect each?
So I do not have a number for.
Why not?
So that analysis I do not do. So we are just the builder of the project, MGS, and MISO did not share cost impact
Why
on
not?
individual customers.
That's what
This is
people are
the
going to
version of that chart before they doctored it, showing the flat beforehand. Anyway.
We're in a decline right now.
So, like, for 20 years, it's been flat. That orange segment is the data centers. And this is from MISO from a meeting in April.
So it's changed from April until now.
It's not that it's so much that it's changed, but they have highlighted what part of the chart they have, if you do a comparison, that starts in 26, that starts in 2020. And also they've made it flat and got rid of the segments, because I think you're probably looking at this, it's mostly the orange, which is causing the increase, because residential is flat, industrial, and this even assumes that little part there is increased EV usage, which is a prediction as well.
Well, and it's also increased residential.
They're showing that? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Then, in the first, that chart, there is a link in the top which says MISO long-range transmission planning. So there is a full report that MISO published for the long-range transmission planning, where they're talking about the whole
Was
study.
there computer simulation on the tower in tornado and high weather?
So I cannot speak to the details of the towers. The engineering folks can do that because I'm not responsible for that work. But yes, for the tower, to the high level knowledge that I have, yes, there are simulations that make sure that the towers are strong.
Were they done?
Now,
And can I get them?
they will be able to say that, yes. Because again, I do not have that information, so I cannot say in what form of it. But yes.
Thank you. So, you looking at that one there that's got the projection, right? So you're starting in 2026, but if you started that chart earlier, it would be flat, and then you're projecting that it is going to grow.
That's it.
And so, how much of, to the extent that it is about, data centers or electric vehicles or onshoring of manufacturing, which are all things that I've seen, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of uncertainty with all of those things right now. Even since April, we've seen 3 data center proposals in this area get put on hold and are not moving forward.
One of the proposed lines go right where that data center is in the town, where they want to put it in the town of Lloyd and town of Turtle. One of the lines run right through there. So what do you think it's going for?
That project is on hold, and those communities are pursuing a moratorium. I'm a fan of electric vehicles, but we've seen, I would say, some slowing of that market. So how accurate do we think these projections are?
So MISO do not have control over things that are changing and not final yet. What MISO has is whatever is concrete, and that is there in their load projections. So, right. Or if we talk about data centers or large loads or manufacturing, if they have signed up with the individual utilities and they have a letter of agreement, those will show. Other kinds of loads, when you talk about residential and commercial and manufacturing, even manufacturing in some cases there will be letter of agreements with them. Other kinds of loads like residential and commercial loads, those are primarily projections because we don't get individual information from each of them, like how much power I'm going to use tomorrow, I cannot say that.
Sure.
So those are projections based on current trends. And then the other part of your question where you said like before versus after, like flat versus future. So I want to share 2 things with you there. One is when we are talking about the load that we have been using, so there are 2 concepts there. One is the total amount of energy that we use, and the other concept is the peak load that we see. So the peak load is when everybody wants to use it the same time. So it is possible that both can be true, where the total energy used is the same, whereas the peak load can go up. That's possible also.
So this is peak load, assuming a lot of hyperscale data centers
So,
working 24 hours a day.
so whatever has signed up and they have agreement, they will be included. But if you look at the contribution of data centers to the whole chart is only 20%.
I'm actually looking at this chart from the MISO report in April that has this orange chunk as the increase in data center use and the flat usage in the previous years. So I do think if that orange portion ends up not being built because hyperscale projects just don't happen and states do moratoriums, like even if states just do a moratorium for a couple of years, that's going to change this trend. So doesn't that kind of change the need for this project?
So I'll come to 2 different things here. One is when you see this chart, it talks about energy use. So again, there's a difference between energy and load. The peak load is energy. This is total power versus the peak load with the need. All of them need at the same time. That is one. Second part is when you're talking about the moratorium, unless it becomes a state law, and whoever the customer is, they withdraw their applications. MISO is obligated to study.
does that mean they'll update? How often do they update their recommendations?
So now, because this load forecast that you see here, MISO does this every year irrespective of what's going on, right? So now I got to the need. So MISO has already come out and said that these lines are needed even if the data centers are not there. So MISO started this study in 2022, where data centers were almost none. And then in 2024, when they approved the portfolio, data centers were started to show up, right? But after that, when asked MISO clarified that even if the data centers did not come, these lines will be needed. But again, going further, so now that they have awarded the project to us, we prepare an application for the PSC called CPCN, Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. We submit it to the PSC. The PSC reviews that application. They do a lot of different things in that for 12 to 18 months, and they have the decision-making power to say that the power lines are needed or not, and to address your specific question about the moratorium, if between now and then, for whatever reason, MISO said that they are still needed without the power, without the data centers, but for whatever reason the need goes away, the PSC can show that yes, the need is not there and we are not going to approve the application, the line will not happen. So, and again, even
MISO
after
deciding there's a need starts the project, but ultimately the PSC has to decide there's a need before the project gets built.
yes, so PSC has to review the need periodically.
And if MISO and PSC disagree, PSC has the final say over whether this happens.
PSC has the authority, but PSC has to show that yes, it is not needed. They cannot just say no, it is not needed, we are not needed. They cannot do it. Now, having said that, even after the PSC approves the project, until the project is being built, they keep on reviewing that, and they have the authority even after the project starts to delay or cancel the project if it is not needed after that. Now they will have to do prudency in their decision making, where they see, okay, we've already spent half of the money. Does it make sense to lose all that money and not do it? So that they will do, but they still have the decision making.
If the project's postponed or canceled, who pays for the construction that's happening?
So again, my knowledge here is a little bit limited, but what I know is until the application is approved by the PSC, until then, whatever expense we are incurring, we have to incur. After the application is approved by the PSC, all expenses we have incurred until PSC changes their mind will be paid by the customers.
Okay. So right now, all the staff that are in this room are basically an investment by MGS, thinking you will ultimately get approval.
That is correct.
But once PSC approves, then ratepayers are on the hook from that point forward.
Exactly.
It's confusing though about ratepayers being on the hook, because if they're not an Alliant Energy or a whatever energy that we have in Wisconsin entity, how are we on the hook to pay?
Because the line is for Wisconsin or for the region where it is being built.
But it's not owned by our public utility. So why are we as ratepayers on the hook to pay for it?
I mean, that's how the utility business works anywhere in the country, that whoever invests the money, they get their investment back.
So we're saying that Alliant Energy, We Energies, all those other ones are investors in this.
No. What I'm saying, whoever in this case, so in this case, the MGS is the investor in this line. The line is out there, and whatever MGS made investment to build the line, they get it back from the customer.
So do you get it from Alliant and then Alliant gets it from us, or you get it directly from us?
Okay, so that mechanism, I'm not 100% sure, but the way it works is we submit rate case. So the first thing first is we have to submit an application to become a utility in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Once that is approved, then we directly submit our rate requirements to the PSC.
Okay.
Once the PSC approves that, then we are able to tack on that cost on the electric bill through the electric bill.
So Alliant won't have to file a separate rate case. You are filing the rate case and tacking it onto our Alliant bill.
Yes. So whatever we get approved by the PSC, we say Alliant, PSC approved us to get this money. Please ask your ratepayers through you to give us that.
And I know some of this is different because you got the bid. ATC also bid but didn't get the bid.
That's correct.
ATC.
I do not know which other companies, but there were
Right,
like 5 or 6 other
but
companies.
ATC is partly owned by Alliant, and so I think the mechanism might be a little different because, if they had gotten it, they've done all the other power lines in the
What I
area
would say-
versus
so-
you have to become a utility in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so what I would say is that becoming the utility is one small part of the whole process, but more or less the process looks the same because even if ATC or Alliant or whoever is the utility doing this work, they will tack on this cost to the transmission portion of the bill. So it will be only like who is actually the money going to, but otherwise the mechanism is exactly the same. The only difference is who is going to, who is the investor. I hope I was able to explain.
Thank you.
So they just get to decide that they can tack on money to our power bill and it's all okay.
Will your rate case be part of the same filing as the application to actually
No,
build this?
so rate case does not come right now. So first will be the CPCN,
Okay.
then the approval. After that, after the approval happens, then we start again. The frequency of rate cases and stuff, I'm not
behind me, so
familiar
I
with
think
that,
you
and
guys
that
asked
depends on the
that
utility
question
company,
right now.
how
Some
they
free
decide to do it.
letters.
But those rate cases will start after.
You know that.
And then there might be.
And that'll be a separate filing. Okay.
Always, and there will be multiple filing one after another because it will be periodic and
So
not.
then, if anybody in this room who wants to comment with the PSC is likely going to have to comment on your application to build
That's
this,
correct.
and then also on the rate case. And
I want to know how that MISO got formed, because the board of directors only serve 3-year terms and then they cycle off. So I want to know who appoints them, who approves the board of directors, and ultimately who is behind, because there's somebody, there's money, there's somebody behind MISO, and I don't know if it's the electrical companies, the grids,
So who is your supporter, financial supporter?
Again,
Who does the money, who pays your stuff for diesel?
so MISO does not get any money involved in this process.
How does
No, but-
diesel as a company get paid?
and how did they get formed?
And how long have they been in business?
Okay, so 3 questions. How long they have been in business? I'm assuming, I do not know for sure, but I'm assuming they are in the business for around 25 years. Because that's when the RTO system was designed by FERC, the Federal Energy Commission. Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, they came up with saying that we need RTOs, regional transmission coordination in the country, and they came up with that, and then MISO was built kind of at that time, same like PJM and SPP. So that is to answer when. Second question is, if it's a company, if it's expensive, who pays for it, right?
No, it's where's the financial backing that supports the company MISO?
MISO.
That pays the bills and
Yes. So MISO is a not-for-profit company. So MISO is a not-for-profit company, but they have expenses. If they have expenses, they have to get this money back from somebody, right? So those money come from MISO members. So all the electric utility companies in the MISO territory, they are the entities who will pay an yearly fee to MISO based on their customer size.
Wait, so isn't that a conflict of interest?
Again, how?
How? Okay, so you're going to sell it to Alliant, right? But yet Alliant pays into your company.
So no, we are not MISO. We are
They're not
They're not
MISO.
MISO, but they pay into MISO.
So Alliant pay into MISO a membership every year, irrespective of whether the line is getting built or not. Whatever MISO spends, they recoup from their members, from all the utility companies. Now, for this particular project, after it got approved, and after it got bid out, and after it was awarded to us, we get to build it, and when we get to build it, whatever expenses we incur to build the line, we get back from the customer.
And this project was identified.
Otherwise, I'd be at home. Hello, my peeps.
Hey, there you are with your camera. Did you get a new camera finally?
No, it's still broken.
Pretty phone.
I follow you. Thank you for all you're doing.
So can I direct you? I mean, you had some specific questions about right away.
Wherever I go.
I kind of was curious about, you probably don't have it here, but who are your shareholders for Mid-Continent Solutions? Do you have that
So
information?
Mid-Continent Grid Solutions is a joint venture between TransSource and kVTransmission.
So I have to look up rules.
Yeah, and that stuff's all on our website too. You've got information about it. If you haven't already looked at the website, you can go on there, and it'll direct you to their websites.
You don't know anybody offhand?
I don't. I don't. That's not my area of the company.
Is this kind of what you're talking about down here?
Yes, TransSource and kVTransmission.
Well, thank you for your time. So now we just kind of do
you
our
can
own
walk
thing.
around and talk, and all of the boards are on our website. So if like you can't get close or something, you want more detail, you can look them up.
Is there a board that? Remember when I was asking, can you zoom in? Is there a board that shows parcels for this area?
So that would be back at the map desks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you
Table?
have like some specific place that you want to look at, I think you got it done.
So you can divide it up even further.
Yeah.
Now they're divided up into two different people, American Electric Power and Evergy.
That's TransSource.
Okay, so maps are
yeah,
there.
so the maps are back there, and they can show you paper or an iPad. If you happen to see somebody walk around with an iPad, they can show you on that too.
Okay.
But I'm not
Well, my
sure
in-laws
if
live in Walworth too, and they're not
Oh.
sure. You just said BlackRock?
Yeah, BlackRock's one of the investors.
BlackRock.
Of course. BlackRock.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
BlackRock is.
Oh, so, did you two have any other questions?
No.
I keep dropping
Head over to the environmental.
Yeah, the environmental.
Oh. Hi, you're going to talk to me now?
Just so that we can hear what you're asking.
Okay. Well, let's go ask some intelligent questions then. Where should we go?
I'm done with Sandra.
So it's very similar to last time.
But with way
People
more
address the
people,
same-
right?
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad. I wish I would have brought my husband's counter with me, but. And what time is it? It's only 4:51.
I want to talk to the environmentalists.
Okay, should we go talk to them?
So
We're
Maybe
going
we're
to
gonna
go.
go check out the
The
environmentalists. It's
environmentalists.
apparently over
Do you
here.
want to come with
Yes.
your? Now that you put a mic on me?
We have to go through here to get over there.
No. Oh no, I don't think. Oh, I bet these are the maps.
I think that's just for those specific people. I think that's the parcels they were talking about.
Oh my God, I'd be.
Oh yeah,
I
there's
can't even
parcel maps.
imagine.
You know, I'm sorry about that.
Are
Because
ya?
right, one of the connecting, like just south of it, is a site called Lost Forest Bend.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
like
a big deal.
Illinois' #1, like, or it's in like the top category of most diverse preserved land they have.
Oh my
And
God.
it's probably like 3 miles south of this area.
Really?
Yeah. And even just west of Beloit is filled with like environmentally significant areas that haven't been touched yet, that will be touched. And that are owned by the state or owned
So
by.
they're saying that this is several options, that these, so
Yeah.
what, 4 or 5
Yeah,
options
they're gonna narrow
here?
it down to 2, and then by November, they're gonna have 2 down.
Well, that's what they think.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm concerned about is that, well, number one of the points that I did bring up is that
What's that for? She put one on me, so it's only fair you got
one of the
one.
things that I am concerned about is how are they going to ensure that we know everybody has been talked to, right? Because we know just from our own data center stuff that not everybody is on Facebook, not everybody watches the news, not everybody is social media, email, whatever. There's people that are just like, I used to be just like closed up in our houses and not paying attention. So they're also expecting the average Joe around here to provide the information. Provide, do you have, a creek? Do you have, a graveyard on your, do you have this? Do you have that? They want to know all those things.
So they
why
want the
aren't
people
they,
to do all the mapping for them.
So why aren't they doing their due diligence instead of asking us to do the mapping and asking us to provide that information? And what about people who don't? What about people who threw it in the garbage and didn't pay attention to it and never will? Well, and that's what I said. Are you going to go knock door to door? Are you going to have a checklist of people to verify that you do talk to all of these people and you do see if those things?
Yeah.
What he said. What if there's an abandoned mine on your property? What there's so many things. Like what about the ammunition land that it's running right through?
Yeah.
What about our buddies Chestnut Grove?
Right.
There's so many, and they're expecting the people to provide all of that information.
Well, maybe it's a cost-cutting measure.
What was the qualification to get a letter? Is it
To be within on your property or within 1,000 feet.
do we know how many people that is total?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'd like
It's
to find
got
out.
to be thousands based on the size of that.
Yeah, I mean if they've got 5 projected lines and
Yeah, I'd be interested in finding out.
Yeah.
because I asked that highway question because people are pointing that out that they're supposed to go along the highway.
Right.
And
An
she's
existing
like,
corridor.
she's like, well, there's stuff in the way. Well, that's what's going on here anyway.
But I
They didn't
also
like
want to
that
know,
question.
do they have to follow the height restrictions for the
Yeah.
airport in
Yeah.
Janesville Airport?
That's a good question.
I guess the other ones in Rock by us didn't have to do that. Ones west by me.
They didn't have to follow height restrictions? But
They're
my
there.
house had to, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a one-story house, and I had to get a special permit from the airport.
Really?
Yeah, that's weird because you built your house yourself. Okay.
Yeah, and the poles that you showed us on the way over, those are
Oh, yeah.
200 feet tall, right?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
I there's no way to measure it, but I know I can't throw anything that high.
Yeah.
I mean, because I tried to go up next to it to get. There's not
Where-
enough space for
where
me
are
to.
they from?
Off Knox Road and
And those aren't even as large
Finley.
as these.
Yeah, no, I think they're shorter.
Right.
I don't know.
Because these are significantly taller.
Yeah, I tried to do a video of me standing next to it. There's not enough room
Right.
Yeah.
to have me
You
in
have
the
to do a
shot,
panoramic.
and to get the whole pole in shot. I just went up there and kind of jumped up and down to get the frame, and they're ugly as hell. I mean, that's the other thing.
Well, like the visuals that they made it
Right,
with
yeah.
the little house.
They're trying to make
and
them look cleaner
That
now.
was great.
Yeah.
And I loved your little devil mask thing.
It's if you didn't see it before, you should see it now.
You know, I thought there was something funky about the way
No,
they
we're
looked.
just
And when
chatting.
you did that was it. That was what it was. Yeah.
It's totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, people.
Yeah, no, thank God we're not in line. Let's go talk to the environmental people.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
vegetation management. What the hell is
Yeah,
that?
Which basically means spraying everything and invasive plants will take over.
Oh, okay. Just like they're doing in the forest right now with the black ball.
Answers?
No.
They just hurting us and us,
Yeah.
and moving us along. That's what they're doing. So.
It's just a dog and pony show.
Like Garden Prairie.
No real information here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just give us your land.
Oh, look at that. They're not even giving you a realistic interpretation on how high it is compared to that little house on there.
There was one that I saw that
Somewhere
was
over
shared, I shared it in our
Yeah,
group
they won't
chat.
show you
The
here.
hay bale. That hay bale wouldn't even come
That
up to the
size
top of
compared-
this.
it
And the
doesn't even-
cow?
That's no way.
That's
That's
terrible. This would be,
yeah.
Yeah.
this should be like this.
Well, and it's also from an awkward angle, so it makes it look like it's.
Yeah, like,
that's
oh, this is
deceptive.
really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
Wow.
the pictures I shared from Walworth earlier shows a better.
Wow, that's terrible.
So right-of-way estimates. I mean, look at the amount of land that is going to be utilized for the right-of-way.
Yeah, this is so
This is land that's going to be
disingenuous.
stripped. It's going to be stripped of all of its nature, of all of its whatever is
Huh.
living, residing on it, whether it be animals or crops.
Yeah.
See, these all just look like nothing again. It's just like
What about the rolling
Not
hills
really
of
anything.
Wisconsin? Are they gonna? How are they gonna?
word.
Well, how are they
Yeah,
gonna keep
word-
it all
word
stripped
salad,
down
right?
from,
Well, and then it's also the
vegetation?
issues like with other developments where
Yeah,
people have had
I know
water
that
issues
email.
because of.
I started spiraling
because of
after I
stripping
saw
down.
that again. I was like, oh,
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So
I said
are
that was
people
like the
flooding
best email I
issues
ever
and
sent in my
other
life.
issues
Was
because
that to
of
that
Well,
guy?
of
I was
course
like,
they will.
2
the
pages of
answer to
stuff.
that is
Yeah.
How does that
I was
get
just like
mitigated?
Yeah.
Is there?
You know,
going
and
off
there's-
on it, all sorts of stuff.
And we don't have
There's
the
only-
ability because they're a utility.
Didn't
we don't have
matter
the
in the
ability
end.
to put it into.
And you see what Brittany posted about the
To
air
put it into,
quality. You know, I didn't know Beloit was like the
conditional
worst
use
in the
permit.
U.S.
You know that they're going to
Yeah,
have to be
gosh.
responsible for these things. So.
And then who would hold their
Yeah.
feet
Hold
to
them
the fire?
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
what can you mitigate it with? They're using up all the
I know,
natural
I'm so-
resources. There's nothing really to mitigate
Yeah.
it, to help it. There's no way to offset this here to someplace else. They're just running out of land. This is too much.
Yeah, and there should be like a foot how tall it is right there, or something that should at least
I
tell
have a
you.
pen in my.
Put up that picture in the.
Yeah, the one.
Are you live streaming right now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, here I'll show you. We'll put that one up. That
Oh yeah, what have the LGN? That one?
No,
Or-
this
oh,
one.
that one.
That's what it should look like.
Yeah, this is what it should look like.
Talk about a difference there. And it's all about the angle on that photo.
This is terrible. I guess we can't really deface it, but the cow would be the size of an ant. And even this isn't fair.
So people are resistant, then because it's a utility, then they're able to enact eminent domain. If
You
people
see-
don't want to sell their land, they
You
don't
see
want
vegetation management, eat out what we're cutting down.
Yeah.
Guy with a big saw.
Yeah. Permission to serve it, yeah.
Inconsistent common use.
So do we know yet what the people are getting offered for if they're getting the right of way?
No, I don't know what they are.
I'd be
Oh,
curious to
do I
know that. I
need
guess
this?
that's none of our business what
Really?
people are getting offered
No, I
for
don't
their
think
homes.
so.
Must prepare an environmental impact statement. So,
Wait.
Wasn't that good? That's what we wanted for rock, right?
It's what?
Inconsistent common use.
you saw that was approved,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, that's
Oh, good. That's,
Oxford common use. Missing over.
at least they took their
they're probably
time.
bad with their apostrophes too.
I probably ran it through AI
Yeah, that's an art. I was thinking the other night.
I'd be interested in talking to these guys over here.
Yeah, they've been busy for.
I know, I just mixed it good for the Oxford common.
I like the Oxford comma too.
But no.
Yeah. It terrifies me. Such a weirdo. Okay, okay.
Have some questions for them?
Boy, I don't know, not yet. I have to read what they have so we can just sort of tear it apart here. Okay. Environmental federal. So, you know, we've already established that one of their sites goes right through a really high quality fen. I mean, they just probably chose that area because nobody lives there. It's open land. And that's what a lot of these are, aren't they?
Yeah. But you said those are like protected lands?
Yeah. It's
Either owned by the state or owned by
the
not necessarily
Natural Land
private.
Institute
Yeah, Natural
owns a
Land
lot of
Institute,
those over
yep.
there.
You saw though who Sioux listed as property owners, right?
What was that?
The Sioux listed as,
Yeah.
how to read
All right.
that. There were 39 pages. And I don't know how to read plats.
Oh, okay.
And even like Winnebago Forest preserves, like there's a preserve there, Sugar River, Alders over here, Lost Flora Fen is right there, and then there's the Wisconsin-Illinois border, and I'll cut through somewhere near there. This is in the top category of like preserved sites that has the most biodiversity for plant life. I think it said over 280 something.
And that's in the impacted area, not the non-impacted area, because there's a very small portion of Illinois has opted out.
Yeah, we got to go there and seed collect, and there's a lot of like rare plants that you won't ever see. And that creek that goes through it continues the plants through these areas, but that's also in the past. So
Those are good questions to ask.
So yeah, let's see what we can do about a map.
I wonder what
Is an environmental person here though? I don't.
And where'd she go?
Are you the environmental person here?
Are these
Okay.
there's three
So-
of them kind of bunched up here. Oh, here we go.
Yes. So you work on. You're consultant.
So you're the environmental guy?
One of them,
Okay.
Any concerns about where these points touch into the west side of Beloit?
I'm not familiar with that area personally.
Okay.
What were your
There's some
concerns?
incredible high quality
Yeah.
natural areas there that have enormous biodiversities, 200 plus different species of animals and plants and insects in these very specific areas. So we're wondering why a place that's that precious would be targeted.
I don't know. My understanding is they're trying to meet up with another line down there.
It's not been built yet, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so that's why they have not decided on where it's crossing the border.
But how can you say something like this? You're committed to environmental protection and you target an area like that that's so precious. I mean, that's those are kind of contradictory statements.
Yeah, targeting, I guess, isn't the word I would use. They had to
Got a green dot on the map.
start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, when the map was drawn, they had not gathered all of the information that they need to gather to even begin like applying for permits to do this work, right?
So you're actually, this is another question that we've had from earlier. You're actually asking all the people, all the landowners, to do a lot of your surveying for you.
We're asking for any information they have so that if there is something that they need to avoid, they can
until
avoid
7,
it
right?
at this level of the process, or at this stage of the process.
Can we speak up for these nature preserves? We don't live on that property, but
Yeah, and also this messes with like their own goals. Like a lot of this property over here is owned by like the state of Wisconsin or like Natural Land Institute, Winnebago Forest Preserves. Like they dedicate huge portions of their budget to maintain and manage that land. And if something's going through it, like what's even the point then?
Yeah, so what I can say about that is anything collected at these events becomes a part of the public record regarding this project, right? So their first broad step, and we're talking months down the road, is creating an environmental impact statement, and that's going to be prepared by the DNR, but the DNR is going to be using information collected at these events. So anything submitted here becomes part of the public record. So if you have those comments, if you know about things like that, this is a place to.
What about people who are a little skeptical of what DNR has been doing lately?
That's a tough one. You have to ask them.
But I'm interested to know why you are collecting information for the DNR to do the environmental impact statement.
That's the way the process works.
Seems counterproductive. It should be an unbiased third party.
So a lot of the information comes from the DNR. It's we already have things like National Heritage Inventory, surface water information, groundwater, soil surveys, stuff like that.
Can I ask, isn't an option, highway already has a right of way for these power lines, from what I understand? Why is that option being explored further? I already asked that question down there.
let's see if he gives a similar answer.
No, he's pointing.
Oh, he's pointing.
That's where I got my answer.
Was it a good answer?
Still looking into all the options.
Beating around the question,
So we're also curious about, is there a large blow-up map here that's more detailed that we could look at?
There is some maps in the middle of the
That
room.
one there. Otherwise, the people there have mapping software.
They give like 40 different maps per county too if you go online.
Unless you're a savant, you can read those.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
There's also an interactive map on there that you can pull up.
It'll be a lot easier on the computer. So.
Well, from what I looked at, as far as the interactive map though around my area, it's following the same corridor, which
On this side?
would be untrue. So that confused.
Are the maps on this?
Is this where the maps are, the MGS projects? Is that where you found it?
What?
Is this where you found the maps?
I scanned the QR code on the other side.
Oh,
that
okay.
website probably brings it to it too.
Okay.
Thank you. Wait, maybe not that one.
Everything that's on this board is online. Like, otherwise, I would have to take a picture for every board for my wife. So.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't have to do that.
American Electric.
What is
Triple dipping, I would imagine, right?
That's what Lori's saying. I asked her where, or she asked us how long it goes and if we're here.
I think it's
She's a mile marker. That's not terrible.
I know.
Okay, interesting info. I was just looking over here, vegetation management. Their first thing is, our vegetation management program aim is to protect the electrical grid and reduce power outages. How does that relate to vegetation management?
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't.
That is the number one.
I know, isn't that funny?
Yes.
When I was
Minimize negative impacts to the environment. This whole thing is a negative impact to the environment. Foster positive
I mean, I'm worried about our stuff, but
relationships.
what's going on in the drift list?
Every time I set a fire, I can call vegetation management.
Isn't that funny? Work safely and efficiently, comply with federal, state, and local. Yeah, there's nothing on there about vegetation at all.
No.
Oh, the drift
They're
list?
basically saying we'll spray shit when it starts to grow.
Yeah.
And
We don't care
bother
about it.
our lines.
And it doesn't matter that we've all found rusty patch bumblebees in our gardens. That
Yeah,
doesn't matter
literally
at all.
today.
Well,
I forgot to tell the
Yeah.
group I found one today.
oh, you did too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
Well,
yard.
that's 3 that have been.
Yeah, we all have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to sit still and look, and they're there.
Yeah.
But it didn't save the prairie down at the Rockford Airport.
Oh, Bell Bowl.
Oh, yeah, Bell Bowl. It didn't help that. I mean, so it's
because Bezos.
yeah, that's really, really
Oh,
sad.
that's from Aquanico. Where did it go? Aquanico. Who's Troy? I don't know. Maybe we should make it here.
Oh,
That's
we're
where we
here.
are.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably go an hour.
Oh,
Well, she's a fast driver. I'll let her.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm going to ask them about the first thing on their environmental board because they're so lame.
yeah.
That's a lot of land.
Do I still have a thing on?
We have some information collection, planning, routing,
Did you talk to
that's it.
Our experience is they're all throughout Indiana. They have cattle underneath the line. They have corn. They have horses. All the different types of.
So that's where I get confused because I think when I was planting rocks,
Yeah, soybeans.
you can farm right up to the stuff. How
Guy wire.
2 months. So if you have to do that for each section, big line.
Which has been a big
You
complaint.
can't do it all at once, right?
It doesn't affect
Well, not just at one spot.
From what it sounds like it does, is the EMF
Right,
guy
so
comes
how
out.
it's
So
I mean, that would take like, do the math.
But what's the estimated begin date of construction? I know I read it somewhere.
it sounds like it's going to be a bigger issue.
I know I read it somewhere.
It sounds like
It's within just a few years. So it's not
Yes, that's where I'm lost. 'Cause if you don't have enough people to do that full, I don't know how many acres total. Do you know how long?
Yeah, they'll have to adjust something to the design so it doesn't have to show.
But
How could that?
We find it really curious that your very first, your vegetation management, I mean, nothing about this has anything to do with vegetation.
That's a
Protect the electrical grid and reduce power outages? What does that have to do with vegetation management?
85% of every
I
power
have no
outage
idea. I
in the
have
United States
our automatic
is caused by a
fires
tree.
Is what?
Caused by a tree.
mile or something like that. You know what I mean?
They can't hire enough officers. I don't think that they're going to hire any more officers.
I think don't really
We only know that because
Yeah. Oh well, is what I have to say about that. I don't know. This is so aggressive. We're so against this. It's so hard to be here and to listen to see all this.
This is our number 8 one that everyone's been against since the beginning.
I know. I mean, it's got to be hard for you guys. Do you guys really work for this company, or are you just like part-timers
They don't
that were
require
brought
one.
in?
No,
For the LNG?
we work for AP, who's going to own this line.
process.
So,
We will do.
yeah.
But this line, they've never built towers this size before, and there's no connecting point in Minnesota or Illinois, and we understand that this is just an energy pass-through, that this energy won't be serving us in Wisconsin.
The only analogy I have
No, it's for the
Yeah.
wind. It's for
is
proposed.
any highway going east and west.
Yeah.
Same thing the grid does.
That is-
I'm in Wisconsin, I live in Indiana, I'm using your highways. Same thing, you're feeding the country back and forth.
But there's not even connector points on either
There
side
will
of
be.
Well, and I understand that the company that wants to build this, is it mid, am I?
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to construct it.
And they've never constructed something like this before, and it's just it's an investment. Investment in the future build out of Wisconsin, from what I understand, right?
They have 7, Joshua's got 8.
So yeah, you are investing in. Sorry, to answer her question, you are investing into the future of Wisconsin and the surrounding states. There's going to be more demand for power, and as of right now, we have because of how long it takes to these type of lines, you have to invest now to meet the needs in the future. So this will be about 2033, I think it says on the amount of time they're going to finish this, and that's without any delays. So you have to get the lines up and running before you actually need that power. Otherwise, you're going to have rolling blackouts.
But this is okay. So this is where the conundrum lies. We are preemptively spending out of our pockets as ratepayers for a future possible energy need by large industrial users, extra residents, whatever. As the ratepayer, this is being put on our shoulders for the potential of some other data center, some other thing. So they don't have to, according to the government, or they don't have to provide their own infrastructure. We're going to previously pay for it.
That is so out of our realm of
But it's true. It's absolutely true. It's the same thing that we've seen with Alliant Energy over the last 5 years. We've continuously seen our power bills go up, percentages. A couple years ago, I was paying $280 a month. My electric bill now is $480. Has nothing to do with data centers, right? Because there isn't one that exists there yet. But once a data center exists, they're going to be like, oh, well, those hikes already happened preemptively before. We never knew the data center was going to come. So again, you're forecasting something. You're forecasting a future need that I get to pay for energy that I'm not going to use.
But again, we're managed.
I'm just saying though, like that. I think that's what so many people are upset about.
Let me correct one thing.
Okay.
The design of the tower is 765 voltage power lines all over the country.
Oh.
We've had them in Indiana 50 years.
That size?
Yeah. It's just a new design of a tower. Because the old design, you needed 200 feet for the right of way.
Are some of these, are there pictures over there of some old towers?
Yes, that would be the design.
Oh, the older ones?
No,
that's the new one. Yes. These ones, are these the older ones?
yes, those are the old ones.
Like, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay. We've all found...
That's environmental. We can't, we're not.
We've all found the federally threatened rusty patch bumblebee on all of our property. So,
Today.
That should be it. That should be it, right?
Yeah.
We found it. It's here.
So
it
what do you
shouldn't
have
come-
on your property?
What do you mean what I... Oh,
Well-
huge gardens.
Yeah, well, you can have that.
Well, it should prevent the data centers from going. It should prevent the power lines from going through because it'll disrupt their territory. Right? Environmental protection. I mean, just what we talked about with this gentleman here.
Yeah, they'll have to answer those questions.
Yeah, he didn't have very good answers for us either. Because they've got some really high quality natural areas targeted as connection points between Wisconsin and Illinois. And
both of them are local to Wisconsin.
Okay.
So they're way more familiar.
Yeah, he knew nothing.
He didn't know anything.
He knew nothing.
Well, there's no reason you can't have pollinators. We encourage that.
Yeah.
we planted them for people. Right, but you're going to have
What
to
about
create a throughway to build. So you're strip the land, and then she's gonna have to replant her garden, her farm.
And that's just people's properties. What about like areas that are like already preserved? Because west of Beloit, there's tons of areas owned by the state, owned by NLI. You get into Winnebago County, those are areas people are already like committing the budget to. Okay.
Routing maybe.
But still, like management, spraying, cutting lines, exposing.
If you don't want it. It's in your easement.
Okay.
Say no, it's illegal for us to spray your property.
So someone's got to say no for every segment of the property that's got special plans on it? So if going through the driftless region, there's so much untouched virgin property over there. So for no spraying to occur there, that means, from what I understand what you said, someone's got to speak up and say no for every segment of the land that the line might go through so that it doesn't get sprayed. Is that correct?
It'll be in your easement document. The only way we can go through your land is if they sign an easement. And then it is in the easement. I approved, and however it reads. And you have to sign that part, or else we will spray.
Yeah, and that's more the right-of-way guys that explain that in more detail to you.
How does that fall for people who refuse to sign an easement? And it's taken by the
Yeah, what about
Do they
those?
lose their rights?
Yeah. When people sign away for eminent domain, do they lose their rights then? I mean, you don't know about that. Oh, wow.
But not all trees are created equal, you know. And the driftless is mature, old growth, like untouched, like keystone species that thousands of insects rely on versus like scrub stuff. Like clearly one means a little more for ecological value than another, but also landowners don't. A lot of the average landowner doesn't realize that what they have.
Certified arborists in Wisconsin, you can put a timber value on your trees. And you can request to have that done.
I feel like it should come with it.
So that's beholden on the landowner to know how to do that, to ask those questions and make those kind of requests. That's a lot for someone who's just been tending their family farm for generations to all of a sudden come up to speed on, right?
Again, I do trees. I'm trying to answer questions that is out of my expertise. I'm sorry.
Well, how do the people learn about how to get the trees protected on their property? Is it the right-of-way people?
Yeah. If that tree is in the 180-foot right-of-way, it will be.
And if not, the line will be moved away from the tree. If it's George Washington's tree in Wisconsin, they will not put the line into the tree.
And what did we were just told over there, the lines are spaced out a certain distance. Why was that? 'Cause so there would be less structures put up?
I didn't think they explained that, but here's my question. I was just talking to routing up there. So we were trying to get okay, but it kind of applies to this because the environmental impact statement. You know what that is, right?
The environmental.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Okay, so well, I just found out that we were trying to get one in rock, EIS statement. It'd take 12, 18 months. They said it's the same turnaround. They have 360-day clock. Even doesn't matter the amount of land. Even if that 200 miles or 50 acres by us. So that's up to the DNR to do that in 360 days to check every tree, every acre.
360 days over 200 miles.
Right. They don't have enough time for that.
No.
So that's, I guess that's.
So it's going to be hunting and pecking.
Right. So I guess if there was something important there, you'd have to pick with her.
Like you said, with driftless.
Hear that guy just said? He said she had to walk away. He said, yeah, you were being ambushed.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to us anymore. Clearly.
He said that we were ambushing her.
That's why they're leaving.
We are ambushing with questions, not them destroying
Who is that? That guy right there?
200 plus year old trees.
Gosh.
No,
So
the-
she was
those two.
offended by that we had questions
He
about?
said, if you have to walk away, you can walk away. And then he goes, yeah, they were ambushing you.
Wow.
She was the tree person.
Let's see who else we can
She
get
doesn't
that
care
effect
about
on.
old growth trees.
I mean, a 200-foot swath through the driftless is
Well,
devastating.
and I want you to think back in the olden days when they were cutting railroad tracks across the land, they're not going to divert to avoid a tree.
They're not.
Yeah. They're, if they have a straight line, they're going to follow a straight line. They're not going to say, oh, there's 10 of these super rare trees.
Yeah.
They're not going to go around.
Yeah.
They're not.
But the thing is, like, we can see the harm that caused because we've got hundreds of years after to, like, realize they should have done that. But now, like, we know better and we're still going to do what we know won't,
because they
won't work. Yeah.
They think they can. Think they can. Okay. Who else should we go bother? That was kind of fun.
I'd like to talk to the map people with the lines in the wall.
Who else can we make uncomfortable?
They're giving out free cookies.
Lori
Are
did
they
say she was going to
gluten-free?
be here just after 6.
You got set up, already packing?
We've got to bother someone until 6 because then Lori will be here.
We have to run somebody else off.
Okay.
We're gonna run.
Routing guy doesn't seem to know much of anything.
Oh, where's he? Let's go talk to
I
him.
just did. He was just like,
Oh, let's go there. I want to.
Well, it was just you, 4 of us.
Yeah. Let's get him.
we're looking at that's something we can include
Also,
in our
she said
comments to the DNR, say, hey,
one of them's going to
we
go
don't
right,
have time in 360
maybe
days to check every
right by their house.
Oh my God.
Right.
And she's got Russian fish bumblebees. So why does that even
That's a
matter?
big promise to
if
make.
it doesn't matter, why?
Who is it? This guy?
Yeah.
guy in the green shirt.
All right, guys, ready?
Oh, we
get
got
some
our
water.
next.
Ready to make somebody cry?
Yeah, let's go make someone else cry.
He had to get some water.
Oh, here we go.
He had to get water.
He's the
I
one that
think
started
here.
the conversation.
Okay, let's see where we're at. Jefferson and Rock. We need to go further down in the county. Wait.
Also, did she even answer any questions about trees?
I think your property's probably at this map. Oh, hi. We just want a closer
So
look.
I guess that was my comment looking at this now, but I
You
think
could
that
probably
that's
pick
if
your
you're gonna
place out
put
pretty
small
easily,
streams, that's
or not?
done.
Probably over here.
Places that people don't enjoy wildlife and kayak, on significant features.
Actually, I don't see the river.
Right, actually, this is our last of our open houses. The first time I looked at this map, it's
Winnebago
road.
Road.
And
Isn't this Hawaii? Where's the river?
the graphics consultant printed these up, and that is remarkable. The fact that the rock
I feel like going.
big fat blue line.
I know.
That's yeah. Why isn't it there? Because that's where I live.
So I don't assume nefarious intent, but
No, it was.
I like as someone who works in
The Rock River is
making
not a
stuff,
big fat
I
blue
wish I
line,
did
just
more.
so.
Yeah, what does this mean? What's the green?
There's not a big fat blue line for the river.
These, I bet, are the
Sorry, that's
maps that are online. I'm
It-
just
it
going to
should-
guess
I-
that.
I
know.
wanna do this.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
know, and you can if you go online for sure. All these maps are available online at much better resolution with much more detail. So,
But I can't read a plat book. So there's 39 pages, and I don't know which page.
No, I'm not saying you have to read a plat book. There's actually a web tool on the website. It's just like Google Earth. You can type your address in and zoom out, and look at individual places.
So what I had looked at around my area,
Yeah.
which if I have a the other side of the railroad tracks. So this is going to go right past a 2 billion cubic foot LNG facility that has yet to be built, which is going to be
They could've
literally,
made this map
literally
one
right
more.
there.
I know this is a sheet.
This
map.
is also
They made it 3 times the size.
This is also
Yeah, and-
the Peace Trail is going to be under
I don't know.
here.
It's just difficult to
And
read.
the
Big Hill
Park
Park.
River's not on there. That's a major.
Big Hill Park, right here, Big Hill.
You need to take GIS class.
Point.
So Big Hill Park is within
Yeah, they've got all
this
this in.
Alliant Energy
They're
is
thinking
right
the river will
here.
dry up. We don't have to deal with that pesky river anymore.
But see, this is where it looks like the current the current corridor already is.
Yeah. The big brown ones are off going this way, right?
Well, this goes along Philhauer, and then it goes over into what is that, Garden Prairie subdivision, and then back down Philhauer. But there's people that live there, and they have very, very small lawns. I'm wondering how that affects them, because Circus Drive-In's right here.
Could I have your address?
6555 South River Drive, KREE 55.
I think we'll have to work hard to make this
Here you
go.
are. Okay, so that's your
Oh,
house
they're
right
back.
there.
Yeah, we haven't started.
So these are
Visit them again.
Yeah.
Like,
Our daughter.
Oh, beautiful.
I feel like
Okay, so you're right on the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that line
Yeah.
there.
So there's, but see, that looks like where the current corridor already is. That's what confused me.
When you say it's where the current corridor
Where the
is.
current, 345 or
Right.
whatever the heck they are, literally follow the same.
Yeah, and so we are required to parallel existing corridors where possible. That's the state statute.
So parallel how? Like
On the
touching
same
their
property?
We
easement on the
can't
same
we can't touch their
property?
easement. They have to have their own easement.
Okay.
We're required to go next to them wherever we can.
Okay.
But
So this is that's where I question though, because there's private businesses here.
right.
This is a brand new up and coming community that just said how many more houses they're going to build?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, 125 or so more houses here. This goes along right behind Alliant Energy,
Right.
and then up and around the train tracks. So yeah, right around my community.
Yeah.
So we already have how much we have to have on the lines right now? How many feet?
What's the easement now for the current size lines? The
If
365?
it's 345, that's probably a 150 to 200 foot easement on the 345.
So that means we're going to have a 400-foot easement for the two sets of lines?
If that is where the alignment is, and again, this is a study segment.
Right.
We're putting down what we think is workable based on what we've seen and based on what we know about the land use. We're learning things now, like the ethanol plant coming in, just being approved today. These are all things
The
that,
LNG?
sorry, the LNG plant, not the ethanol plant, the LNG plant being just approved today.
Yeah.
These are things that, are not announced and documented for us to pick up on. Why we have these open houses? Because we can make adjustments to these lines when we have new information, and we're counting on business owners, county officials, others to use these open houses and work with us to help improve these routes. So,
Because obviously I don't live close enough that I got to notice.
right, I understand, and that's
But
why,
I
also
do.
why, but that's also why we publish these publicly. We priorly notify directly parties whose parcels are directly crossed by our line, but we publicize the open houses broadly so that we get feedback from people beyond just that direct.
Because like my direct question to somebody was, so we run a nonprofit group, so we have dealt with people with data centers and LNG and everything. A lot of people just don't know. They get a letter in the mail and they throw it away. They don't pay attention. I used to never pay attention either. What is the due diligence on behalf of your company to contact the people who don't come to these events, who don't email in, who don't respond, who really have no idea? Because a lot of us live under a rock, and I used to. So what is the due diligence to those people then?
So we've held 8 public meetings.
Well, that's great, but there's still people that don't.
So that's where we start.
Right.
We made a press release. We put that in the paper. We got picked up in the local media. We have online ads that we're taking out. We are holding these public meetings, which are, as you probably have seen, generating a ton of media interest. That's also publicizing it. We're going to hold another round of public meetings with another press release where we update these routes for the November open houses. And then we will also